Either, to be honest. I just, oof. But kind of to be expected at this point to me.
Yeah.
At a certain level, things are just don't always go our way. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Give me 1 sec.
Is my camera looking well?
Oh Lord. Do you think that was all Jacques' fault or what? What do you think? Oh, you dipped out. Okay. There it is. Give me 1 sec. Let you in. All right. People are actually looking at this right now, and we're not doing anything. That's funny. Sorry if you're in the comment section. I went live a little early, and I wasn't 100% ready. My bad. So, really quick, just do this. All right, you guys. So we tied 1-1. Not great. So we're going to react to this. This is a new show that I'm doing called On the Whistle. So we're just going to do our player ratings and hot takes and things like that. This should be fun. This should be fun. Hey, Harry.
Hello.
I would ask you how you are, but I'm sure you're probably as blah as me. Ugh, that was not great.
I just want to speak to someone after a comprehensive win. I don't think I've had that yet since popping on these types of football shows. Everything there either seems to be a bit of drama, a referee and blunder. Apart from the Leicester win last week, I just want a nice breezy 3-4-0 victory where we can celebrate all of our players. But it's just not happening. It's not happening.
It's really, really not. I mean, waking up this early for this time. I mean, I think the most annoying part is that like we didn't really start to play until we realized that we were going to drop points, towards the very end, and that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. If you're in the chat box right now, just say hello. Feel free to rant in the chat box if you want. That's what this is for. We're reacting to the game, getting our frustrations out, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to start with you, Harry. What's your hot take for this game? Your immediate, first thought. What comes to mind?
I mean, I hate to make excuses, but I just feel like I'm so confused with the handball rule, and I'm so confused as to who gets the advantage. So if we take the Fulham goal against Spurs the other night, the guy's hand's by his side, but because he's an attacker, he can't gain an advantage. Whereas it seems like there's balance, or there's it goes down to perception when it's the defender, or it favours the defender. So minus how annoying we were today, and we'll go into that, but just straight off the bat, I'm just thinking, well, we didn't play terribly bad. We created a few chances. We didn't take our chances. And when we should have had a penalty, we didn't get a penalty. And it's just annoying. Like, it's just annoying. It's not making excuses. It's just a fact. It's a penalty every day of the week. And to anyone that says it's not, I'd say if you're an England fan and it's the World Cup final and that happens to Sterling, and we want to win the World Cup, you'd be going absolutely bonkers. If that was any other team, if that was your team, you'd be going bonkers. So it's just a penalty, which just annoys me because we're talking about it, and I'm not making excuses because we were also lackluster in many moments of that game. But straight off the bat, I'm just annoyed with the refs because VAR was meant to make things better. Instead, it's made the refs worse, and it's taken all of the fun out of the game. So I just don't understand. What's the point? What's the point when it comes to playing football at the elite level, and meant you have full-time refs in an elite game, playing in the biggest league in the world, and you continuously make blunders every week. Every week we talk about incompetence from a referee and decision, and then what happens? A referee's family member's ill, so he's not refereeing the next game. Oh, the ref received death threats, so he's not refereeing the next game. All these cover-ups to make them feel like they can't make a mistake. It's just a joke. It's a joke.
It's true, but like I hear everything that you're saying, but for me, I can't get over the fact that this game was completely in our control. Burnley in the first half was not good, but neither were we. We got a goal pretty early. And for me, it's just the individual errors are being punished so harshly for us. Like that is my take for this entire game is individual errors are punished so harshly for Arsenal. And I did see that a lot of people were laying all of the blame of that goal on Granit Xhaka. And if you've never played the game before, maybe you would think that. But quite frankly, Leno should have enough intelligence between those ears to see that Xhaka's under pressure and kick that ball out. Yeah, Xhaka called for the ball, but does that mean that Leno has to give it to him under that kind of pressure? Leno can see the entire field. He can see the entire field. He's looking at it. It's just because you like Leno and you don't like Xhaka. So you don't want to lay any blame on Leno at all. He should have enough wherewithal. I mean, this is a German international. You mean to tell me that he would have passed that ball to Toni Kroos right there under pressure? No, use your brain. Use your brain. Kick it out. You can see the pressure, and I do blame Xhaka because he didn't know what he wanted to do with the ball before he got it. So he kind of panicked. But in reality, Leno needs to kick that ball out. We're 5 minutes away from halftime. And again, you guys give up a goal, a silly goal. Burnley did absolutely, again, nothing in that game to win it. And then on the other end, I know we don't want to talk about it because we love him, but Saka needs to start putting these chances away. This is like the exact same thing, to a little bit different, but to the Wolves game. Saka missed wide open opportunities in that game as well. And then we had an individual error, and that was it.
Yeah.
So my only thought here is individual errors are costing us. And I know we want to have, for some reason, want to beat Arteta over the head with it. But I'm starting to just think like, this is them. This has to be them. This is ridiculous. We've been passing out of the back the entire season and last season. Everybody passes out of the back. So it's not about passing out of the back. It's about getting into halftime unscathed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. I agree with you. I think when you look at the goal, when you look at Burnley goal, like you say, firstly, Xhaka's called in for the ball. Most players are going to call for the ball. Like that's their job is to offer themselves to the ball. So it doesn't mean that Xhaka is saying you have to pass it to me. It's saying I'm here. Let's play out from the back. So once Leno passes that ball, Xhaka doesn't take a first touch. He just needs to play it round the corner to David Luiz's right foot. But he takes the touch. And then obviously it makes it harder for that pass. And then when he does make the pass, it's a poor pass. But it comes down to, from my perspective, is arrogance. So I've got no problem with us playing from the back because if that's the way we play, then you have to do that to generate the confidence to do it. We've seen Ederson give away the ball for Liverpool last season, trying to take on a player or make a misplaced pass because you're trying to play from the back. What I've got a problem with is professional footballers not understanding the game that they're in. So they know it's 1-0, but it should be 3 or 4-0 to us. They know away at Wolves, it was 1-0 and it should have been 3 or 4-0 to us. So there's 5 minutes left. Now, of course, Leno can play that pass to Xhaka and Xhaka first time should play it out to David Luiz, of course. But I feel in that situation, it's not saying that you suddenly banish your style of play. It's saying there's 5 minutes to go. We deserve to be clear out of sight, but we're not. Do you know what? Let's just go long and let's start again. That they were initially my thoughts. Now, if people are going to say no, that's not right, it's all about Xhaka, then yeah, for you it's all about Xhaka, and that's all it will ever be about is Granit Xhaka. If straight away your like narrative is you can't blame Leno for that, it's all on Xhaka, then you've already made your mind up. You're not here to judge players fairly. You're just here to dig out Xhaka for making a mistake. From my perspective, I would have liked Leno just to go long because I could see the narrative developing. I could see the way the game was going, which was like we are going to miss chances and they're going to sneak back into it only via a mistake.
Yeah, people were ready to shoot Xhaka. They were waiting for him to make a mistake to justify their biased hate for him. Exactly. I don't love Xhaka. He's not the long-term solution. But I kid you not, I said that it was Leno's fault too, and I lost followers immediately. That's how biased you guys are. Like, it's actually ridiculous that you can't look at that and say a grown man, I think he turned 29 yesterday, a German international, can't think to himself and say, hey, you know what? Xhaka's under a lot of pressure. Let me just slam it up the field because guess what? We're 5 minutes from halftime and I've seen this movie before.
That's what I mean. Like, it's arrogance. It's arrogance in our play. You know, that first half, we passed it slow and we thought the game was easy and we were taking risks when we shouldn't have been taking risks because we thought, we've got this. It's only Burnley. And as soon as that complacency sneaks in your game, it sneaks in your mental space, you get punished. And that's exactly what happened, which is why I would have liked Leno just to go long. I totally get why he plays out from the back, but in that instance, there was no need to do it. There was no need to do it.
Use your brain.
The pressure was on Xhaka. And Xhaka is good on the ball, so we can't accuse him of making these mistakes all the time because he doesn't make those sort of mistakes on the ball. But today he did, and like you say, if you don't like Xhaka already, then he could take a foul throw and you'd be retweeting it and you'd be saying, "Oh, this guy's a joke," and da 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 da. So it doesn't matter in that respect.
Let me be real too. It's like same thing with Saka. He missed more than one wide open opportunity today. He was poor, but people were just, he's tired, blah, 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 acting like you can't say anything about Saka. Pepe misses his chance. Oh my gosh, $72 million player. Oh my gosh, he's back to Gervinho. You guys are way too biased. You don't see the game clearly. And it's just, you have to just look at it. It's like even thinking that throw the game plan away just because they couldn't pass out of the back this one time. Again, everybody passes out of the back. We've been doing it well this entire season and last season. So no, you just don't throw away the game plan because quite frankly, if we just hoof it down the field every single time that we get it, we were never going to, with Odegaard and Aubameyang, do you really think that they're going to be able to keep possession against me and Tarkowski? We had to pass it out of the back. The only issue is that we have to pick and choose our moments. And in that particular moment, the individual error crept in. That's all that was, so let's get into some comments before we get into the player ratings. Let's see. Okay. List the recurring situations that arise over and over. Sloppy in the back, inconsistent attack. Yes, that is true. This game summed up our season. Great control, then shoot ourselves in the foot, plus poor finishing from other players. Exactly. We let Burnley grow into the game. Absolute shambles. We did. We let them grow into it. But at a certain point, it even looked like we were afraid to even get near the Burnley players. Like we were just letting them pass the ball. And we were so far back that there was a big gap between the midfield and the forwards. And it was just dead. All of it was just dead. Thinking big picture, how accountable is Arteta for the individual errors that are costing us so big? It's one thing to do errors. It's another for errors that cost us so dearly. Again, I've been asking this question, and in the past, I was like, there has to be something with Arteta. But quite frankly, I mean, the players are responsible for not making the right decisions on the field, so I don't really see how this can be just all on Arteta. I think the players that we have, some of them just don't make the right decisions in the right moments.
Yeah, it's player accountability and it's player responsibility. Arteta's job is to put the team out there to generate enough moments to score goals, and then it's about being solid at the back. So, like, I would totally get if we lost today, or if we were void of ideas, or if we didn't create chances. But everything falls into place for Aubameyang to have a chance, for Saka to have a chance, for Pepe to have a chance, for a potential Pepe penalty, for a Pepe to clear off the line. So everything falls in place for us to create those moments because of our system, because of our coach. And the reason why we get those plays is because we do play out from the back, but then sometimes because we also play long. So, you know, you can't, if you're Arteta route or you don't like Arteta, then you're going to throw this at Arteta. If you don't like Xhaka, you're going to throw this at Xhaka. You know, but if you want to protect Saka and protect Pepe and protect Aubameyang, you're not going to point fingers at those. I'd prefer for no one to point fingers at anyone and sometimes just look at it and say, do you know what? This wasn't great, but we go again. I'm not gonna, you know, hang this geezer out to dry and make sure he's trended on Twitter and screenshot something to say how useless he is, or use a stat which you can't really compare, but you do compare to prove your argument. But if you want to go down that route, then do it for Saka, do it for Aubameyang. I'd rather you didn't do it at all. But like you say, you have to have the same energy. We didn't win today because players didn't take their chances. That's it.
Period.
That is it.
And that has been the story of the season. You finish your chances, you're 3-0 up. Burnley stops playing. You know, but you let them back into the game and you can see the nervousness creeping in. And I'm sorry, we can't get out of the half without giving up a goal. And it's usually because of our own individual errors. So, you know, Sarah says Xhaka has no right foot as well. I do think that becomes an issue when you're under pressure. And, you know, then if he doesn't have the right amount of time, he can't really move. You know, that only becomes an issue when he's under severe pressure. And maybe that was a part of the issue today. His subs, why is Willian off? Pepe coming in so late. I mean, Pepe came in with 20 minutes to go, so that's not super, super late. He started making changes earlier than he usually does. But yeah, I don't really know. Willian wasn't that great today. The FA Premier League has become an awful, terrible cesspit of corruption and bad referees. And for Arsenal, this has already been a case for decades now. VAR is the pits. Yeah. We can have a bigger conversation about VAR later. But all right, let's get into these interactive player ratings. Let me share my screen. It's going to look a little funky for a second. Bear with me.
Oh,
I know, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm just shouting or going but it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. During lockdown, you wait all week for football. You know, you can't see your friends, you can't see your family, you can't go out, you can't do anything. You just wait for that 90 minutes where you expect joy, and you just get disappointed. It's so annoying.
All right, you guys. This is my new thing. Tell me if you guys like it or not, but this is going to be the interactive player rating. So instead of just giving out numbers, we're going to put them in different categories based on how they played. So we have balling out. I don't think anybody's really going to get in that category. Good but not great. Just meh. And get in the bin. And then we're going to choose our captain. That's the most influential or the best player on the pitch. And then after that, we're actually going to talk about, you know, potential players from the other team that we would transfer in. But we'll get to that a little bit later. All right, so let's start out from the back. Leno. What do you think, Harry? Where does he go?
I'd say I'm leaning towards meh. He did make a good save from, I think it was Peters, a volley in the second half.
This is true.
And I'm not going to put it all on him for the goal. I just think that he played a part in not helping out Granit Xhaka. So I'd say meh. It's his birthday, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I would say meh. I mean, he did make some good saves.
He did.
But that's his job. His job is to make good saves, though. His job is to make good saves, right? That's his job. That's why he's in goal for us. That's why he was selected over Martinez. Yeah, I'd say meh.
Yeah, I'm tempted to put him in get in the bin just to make a point, you know, that he was culpable for that. And we just like Leno better than other players, so he gets away with things that he probably shouldn't have. But we'll put him in the meh category.
Only because it's his birthday. Only because it's his birthday.
Yeah. Aslan says that Leno was balling out and he saved us today, but he also cost us. Like, he wouldn't have had to save us if he didn't cost us, you know? So it's really like a catch-22 there. It's very, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg there? You know, was he saving us or was he kicking us down? You know, I don't know. Meh, didn't have much to do. I mean, when he needed to save us, he saved us, you know, so let's put him in the meh category.
Yeah, not to
All right.
discredit him, but that's his job. His job is to make sure the ball doesn't go in, and when it's unsavable, then you can't save it. But when it's savable, to save it. So yeah, that's it. Mary's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Callum Chambers. To be honest, I think that coming back from a long-term injury without any real playing time, I didn't really see him doing much wrong. There were times where I thought David Luiz should have passed him the ball. He was bypassing him for some reason. He didn't really get done in any way to me. Like, I'm tempted to just put him in good but not great. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought he looked quite assured. I thought that he was playing with the handbrake on a little bit. I don't think he wanted to get forward as much, but when he did get forward, he was good on the ball. He's really good on the ball. You know, he's really, really comfortable on the ball. And with age, he's learned that he's obviously not fast, so he doesn't leave himself exposed. So yeah, pretty decent considering it's his first comeback game. So good but not great is fine.
All right. Let's move to the center backs. It's just so weird because I don't think they had much to do and they took care of everything. And then there was this one individual error that really didn't involve either of them. I thought David Luiz was okay, but I think he was sloppy in possession in some instances. Like, his long balls really weren't making it to the man. And sometimes I wish he would have just taken the simple, you know, and kept possession. I really think I want to put him in the meh because he wasn't good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a big fan of David Luiz, but sometimes he does this thing where he has the ball and he waits and then he does all these gestures to everyone as if to say, like, move forward or move quicker. And then he just plays a really poor pass long because he's taking too long to make an initial decision. So I think meh is fine. I thought Mari was better today than Luiz.
Yeah, probably. I just, you know, he didn't have much to do, but when he, you know, he cleaned up things, he wasn't bad in as bad in possession as I thought David Luiz was. It's just odd because it wasn't really a game about the center backs for me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say good but not great. He was just kind of he wasn't meh. Sorry. He didn't do anything that great. You know, we have to save the good but not great for players that were bet because nobody's but was balling out, you know?
Nope.
So let's see. Kieran Tierney. I thought he was poor today. I think he, you know, by his standards, I think he was poor today. I don't think his crossing was all that great. I think he lost the ball quite a bit. I don't know. That the left-hand side was not, well, nobody was good. What did you think about Kieran Tierney? I mean, I think the standard is so high that, I mean,
yeah, it's exactly that. He sets himself a really high standard. What I would say is that so much of our play is geared towards being productive on the left. Everything, you know, Xhaka fills in left back to free up Kieran Tierney. Ødegaard plays, you know, left footed, so naturally always faces that left side. So it's all about being productive. And today he wasn't as productive as he should have been. And
was that on him though, or was that just because of how we were playing? Like, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, was it really him, or am I just harsh because I just expect so much, but really nothing was going? Because you're right. When Ødegaard plays, I think we play more on the right-hand side. We tend to go over there, and Willian wasn't as involved. So I'm not sure if I'm just, you know, and it's true. Somebody said in here that he was supposed to he should have gotten an assist as well. Kieran Tierney should have. It's so hard to grade him because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like in a few moments when he could have taken on the right back, the take on didn't necessarily work. And some of the crosses were okay, but obviously some were really good. I mean, today's a game of ifs, buts, and maybes. So really everyone is like in between that meh and good but not great.
Well, at least he gave, I mean, there was some times where he defended pretty well too, you know, so he did his job going forward. We were just not good. So I'm going to give him good, but not great, because he did have the effort, but I just expect him to always be up here somewhere, you know, so let's do good, but not great. It's so hard to do the ratings because they, like, as a team, the level was very, very low, very low. So let's move to let's do Thomas Partey first. He's another one that I think he lost the ball quite a bit. I want to say he was meh. I really do. I love him, but he was not good today.
I think that's fair.
You know,
I think that's fair. I think first half he had some really good moments, and there was some good passages of play, especially for the goal between him and Xhaka. And in my head, I was thinking, "Oh, it's happening! Like, you know, we're finally going to get a dominating performance." But then the game ran away from us and ran away from him. And the reason why Burnley had a bit more confidence was because we didn't keep the ball as well as we should have, and that always begins in central midfield for me. So yeah, he was good. He wasn't great, but he was more towards meh because ultimately he just fizzled out. And you know, and clearly his fitness is an issue. He's not ready to go 90 minutes yet, which means come the 60th minute, he's physically falling because he's not ready to play 90. So, which is why he's always coming off. So yeah,
they definitely weren't dominating the midfield after basically halfway through the first half. They stopped doing what they were doing in the very beginning, which was dominating the space, and they dropped off a lot. The midfield did, and then in the second half they were actually non-existent.
But I couldn't work out why Burnley were having so much of the ball first half, because I was watching it and I was thinking Burnley aren't doing anything. Like, they're not opening us up. They're just side to side, getting crosses in. And I didn't know if that was a tactical thing where Arteta says if they've got the ball, just let them have it until they go low and make sure you win. It just felt weird. It felt like we were never under pressure, but we were never in control at some points when we should have just been in control.
Yeah, it was strange, you know, but then I just think we dropped off a lot in the second half because we were scared. And it looked like, you know, because Xhaka always plays that like an auxiliary left back anyway, but you could tell that Thomas and Xhaka in the second half were attached to the center backs. I'm not sure, because then Burnley's midfield was basically getting the ball unchallenged and passing it out wide so that they can get crosses in. And we were just kind of defending the cross. So, you know, I expect when Thomas Partey plays for us to dominate the midfield. That's why we bought him. He wasn't bad, but for his standards, it's just not good enough. So meh for sure for him.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Granit Xhaka. I think he was having a good, that's the bad thing, is he was having a good game before the mistake. I think we have to put him in the bin, honestly, even because I think him and Leno were at fault for that. But I'm more upset because people aren't giving him any blame, or they're not giving Leno any blame, but I do think they were both really poor for that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was having a good game up until that moment. And then, and essentially today that's cost us the game. It shouldn't have, but it has. So yeah, unfortunately, it's getting the bin. But I do like Xhaka, so I'd say he's in the bin, but I'll make sure he's got food and drink in the bin so he can.
It's so bad because now it's just we start over with him, don't we? You know.
Yeah, but Jess, it shouldn't be like that. That's, you know, we shouldn't have to. It's not a competition as well, like about fans, like who's right about Xhaka and who's not. You know, it shouldn't be about that. But unfortunately, you're right. He starts over again now. So if he plays well the next game, everyone will still be referring to Burnley. This game just gone, all the red cards. So unfortunately for Xhaka, there's too many of those moments that you can refer to, and whether you like him or don't like him, and you can't argue that there has been moments when individual errors from him do cost us. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is with him.
That's very true. And I just think like even like the narrative, like the American commentary today was all about Xhaka again making the same mistakes. It was all about he's done it again against Burnley. You know, he needs to watch himself because he'll probably get riled up again. So he really does have a reputation, you know, that kind of precedes him, and it's really unfortunate. I think he's been playing well, but yeah, he was that was a fatal mistake there for him. So Odegaard. Honestly, I want to put him in the bin today. I think this was not a game for him. If Emile Smith-Rowe had been fit, this would have been the game for him because He wasn't getting on the ball. He lost the ball. He was almost Casper-like in the midfield. As much as I like him, if you can't go away to Burnley, if you're dropping Ozil-like Casper performances against Burnley, that's problematic for me when we start talking about he's going to cost us 50 million in the summer. All they really had to do was just bump him, and that was pretty much it. He didn't influence the game. And I always thought if we played Aubameyang and Odegaard in this game, we wouldn't be able to retain the ball at the halfway line. What do you think? I thought he was really poor, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on him, but there's a big difference between playing maybe Granada away or Osasuna away in Spain than there is to playing Burnley away. You have to earn your right to play. And when you're playing in that luxury position, that number 10 position where everything is focused to find you, so you play through the lines, you play out from the back to find you in the pockets, to release you. Then when you have the ball, you have to make things happen. Like, when you're playing in those attacking positions, you are responsible for creating moments, for creating chances. That's why you're there. And it sounds really simple, but if you're not doing that, then you have to excel everywhere else. So that means you have to be responsible. You have to work hard. You have to run around a lot to create space for other people. And if you don't do all of those things, plus you give a very silent performance, then it's really, really poor. Like, then you'd say, do you know what? You'd rather not play with a number 10, and you'd rather play Ceballos, Partey, and Xhaka. Or you'd rather play El Neni in there as well and have three and just be more solid and just get the ball out wide and ignore Odegaard. So from that perspective, yeah, it's getting the bin because you're in there to make a difference, and you have to make a difference. You have to make a difference.
Yeah. I mean, Arteta, if you really think about it, he made almost like a red card type of substitution for him. He took him out and put in a striker and had for a couple minutes Lacazette was playing the 10 role. Yeah. That's how, that is how bad you were that Arteta decided not to play with a 10, and I know that a lot of it had to do with the way that the game is, but other teams will be able to look at that and say, you know what, if we're just a little physical with this guy, he's out. He's done with the game. He just didn't influence the game enough for me. And it's about expectations sometimes. And I know that it's like, oh, it's harsh. Xhaka gave up the game with, but to me, he was just so Casper-like that I can't even put him in the meh. The people in the meh, we can talk about things that they did in that game. Can you really tell me something that this man did in this game at all? And it's not like the ball was nowhere near him. It's just they knew that all they had to do was just be in and around him, and he wouldn't even ask for the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Take ownership of the game. Like, if you're not getting the ball in those positions, go get it off the centre backs. Get deep and start playing. Ozil used to do that all of the time, even in his ghost-like performances. When he wasn't getting the ball, he would go deep to get on it. You'd see him like playing deep on the right-hand side channel sometimes, Ozil, almost in line with the right back, just to get on the ball, to try and give himself some confidence to play. So Odegaard, like, that's what you have to do. You have to get on the ball. And obviously, we want Odegaard to play loads. And when he wasn't playing, people were saying, well, what's the point of getting him on loan if he's not going to play every minute, if you're not going to use him? But there's a reason why, because he has to learn the league. He has to get used to the intensity, the most intense league. Don't underestimate playing in Madrid or Sociedad and in sunny Spain and then going to Burnley away. Playing against essentially championship footballers who will kick you and get in you at every single opportunity. So when you get the ball back to play, they're going to get right up your backside and they're going to give you an elbow, they're going to give you a pinch, and they're going to make sure you don't want the ball. And that's when, as a creative player, you have to put all that to the side and say, give me the ball, let me get on the ball. Even if you're not doing anything with it, which is amazing. Just get on it, pass it, keep it moving, keep it ticking so you gain your own confidence. And games can't pass those players by.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, people are like, what did he do so wrong? And I'm like, you can't give people good, like, meh is average. He was below average. This is average, you guys, average. You can't give somebody that didn't even make a difference in the game. That's not average. You can be bad by not being involved in the game as well. And you have to think about what the responsibility of that player is. And his responsibility is to get on the ball and make things happen. And he did not do that. There were times where he literally did not ask for the ball, and he could have created some space between him and his defender, and he just kind of stood there, probably because he didn't want to get hit, or he was just not expecting. I knew he was going to struggle in this game. So I'm still going to say get in the bin, because let's just be real, he was not good today. But hopefully he'll acclimate to the league. You know, it's just tough because Burnley is one of the worst places to go away if you're this type of player, you know. So let's do Willian. Peripheral performance, to be expected to have a good performance and then completely drop off again. He just wasn't good. You know, I think Arteta is trying to force this to work, and I don't even think he really deserved to start today, if I'm being honest, because Pepe has had a longer run of form, but Willian has one decent performance, and now he's starting again and didn't do anything in this game whatsoever. Did you see him do anything? Because it just looked like he was just kind of there.
Minus the assist. No, he didn't do anything. I feel like it's a desperation for Arteta to prove himself right on a Willian, and also bank in on Willian's confidence. So Willian had a good game last week. So from Arteta's perspective, it's like, right, if I'm ever going to get a good run of form from Willian, it's going to be now, so I don't drop him. I understand why he started him in terms of the type of player he is. You know, essentially another possession-based midfielder. So I understand from that respect. But I've said this before, like, if the story is a bad story, it's going to carry on being a bad story. We've seen it 20 times. One good performance, unfortunately, won't change too much. So, yeah, it was just poor from Willian, poor. And like I said, everything is geared towards finding the attacking players, and you have to make an impact. And he didn't make an impact.
He really didn't. It's like he rode the wave of the performance. And, you know, at some point, these players need to step up and decide, you know, whether the game is going my way or not. You expect a Willian to change the game, change the temperature, change the speed. And he didn't do that. So he's in the bin for me. He doesn't have enough credit in the bank. He had one good game and then dropped another load. Like, no.
Yeah, sometimes you want to walk on the pitch and get Willian, and you want to physically grab him and shake him and say, are you here? Like, exactly. Are you with us? Are you ready to play? Or are you just going to let the game fizzle out and know you'll get taken off at the 65th minute? Like, what are you here for? Because all you're telling me that you're here for is just to earn a nice little salary in London and keep your family happy. Because you're not showing me anything that is proving otherwise. And that's such a shame.
For sure. Wow, like... Yeah, so I don't expect him to play against Olympiacos. So he needs to work up to it. It's just, he just got given this spot and he didn't deserve it. So where's Aubameyang? Am I looking? Oh, there he is. Okay, so Aubameyang scored the goal. I think in the first half, something that I saw from him is that he was trying to get in and amongst those center backs. But as I said in my preview, he's just not going to be able to retain the ball against two physical center backs. That's just not, you know, what he just can't do it. You know, that's more of about his skill set more than his work rate. He was actually trying. He was making good runs. Like, he had that one off of a party chip that was really nice. He did score the goal. He did his job today. Let's just say that. Actually, I'm not upset about Aubameyang. I think that he was good, but he wasn't great. But I thought he was good. You know, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes with Aubameyang, you always feel like there's more to give, or there's more in the tank. And I had moments of that today. But then I also say that we didn't create enough to get him involved enough, and that comes from Odegaard and Willian, you know, not being prolific enough. You know, when Aubameyang scores, he's the cherry on the top. He's because that everyone else has done their job, and there wasn't enough of that today. But yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, he definitely, he did his job. He did as good as he could do, but you saw the difference once Lacazette got out there. He was able to, he's very we'll get into Lacazette, but he's very intelligent in situations like this. And I think he was the spark in conjunction with Pepe that changed the game a little bit. Saka. You guys, we're past the point now where Saka is a 19-year-old and we have to give him grace. He's knocking on the door of being one of the best young players and just the best players in the league on form. I expect him to finish his chances. He didn't. He was poor today for me. And I don't think we should be. Sometimes it's about expectation, so we expect better from him. He wasn't good today, period. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Do you agree?
Yeah, totally agree. He was just off it, and I don't know if it's because he had a rest or if he was rusty. But just in key moments, his touch was loose, his shooting was off, his passing was off. He was. Look, if it's anyone else, if it's Theo Walcott 5 years ago, he's shit. He's getting rid of him, sell him. So, it was poor. It was poor from Saka today. Poor. And
the
so
only reason, though,
it's a meh for me.
Yeah, I was gonna give a med just because once we took Odegaard off and him and Lacazette were kind of trying to get into the midfield and make things happen, I thought he was better at connecting at that point, and he did help us get chances towards the end. So he kind of saved from going in the bin, but he needs to finish his dinner. He has to start finishing. And I know that it's like, well, he scored this amount of goals, but when you look at the amount of chances versus the amount of goals, he needs to become more clinical, and that's just what we expect from him.
Yeah, Jess, if you play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-1-3, however we play it, but essentially we play with a centre forward and two wingers or right-hand side, left-hand side forwards, either side. You need your forward to get 20 goals a season. You need your two wingers to get 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League a season. That's the only way you make top four, especially with a team like us, with our deficiencies. Of course, you can get some teams that don't have those numbers, but they're incredibly solid at the back, and their central midfielders get you 4, 5, 6, 7 goals. We don't have any of that. Xhaka doesn't score, Partey doesn't score, Odegaard doesn't score. For us to work, we need these players to be super, super efficient. Super efficient. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know, but that's what's required of them. So we need to judge them by that.
And
that's their job.
And that's another thing. It's like the balance between in the front four has to be right, because we don't have a 10 that scores goals. So that's already one person out. And I think you have to have at least 2 goal scorers. And then one of the other players can be a creator, so 2 creators and 2 strikers. And really this time we had Saka, who sometimes scores, sometimes doesn't, can actually be put in the creator category to me more than the scoring category. So, and Willian doesn't score goals. So essentially we had nobody out there to score goals. So we need to start getting that balance right. Let's see. So I guess now we're into players that came off of the bench. So let's try to do it in order with Lacazette. Here's the thing. I think I'm going to put Lacazette in good, but not great. Because he recognized the fact that we needed to get fouls to get up the pitch because we couldn't pass out of the back. And I think that him and Pepe really started the game for us. Like the game was dead before they came on. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was really unsure of what Arteta would go for. I thought he might go Aubameyang up front instead of Lacazette because it would give Burnley the chance to just push up if Lacazette was playing. But in the same respect, we lose that hold-up play without him. So I thought he came on and gave us a bit of a different dynamic. And like you say, he doesn't mind getting stuck in. He doesn't mind getting into centre-halves and giving them a tough day. So I thought he gave us a better chance of getting up the pitch and winning fouls. So, yeah, good but not great.
For sure. So this guy here, if we had gotten the penalty, I really think he'd be here. Don't you?
Well, yeah, he could have had a penalty. He should have scored, and then the one off the line. Like, you're talking about 3 decisive moments in 5 minutes or whatever it was. It felt like 5 minutes where everything was just like, what's going on? What's going on? So yeah, but I don't know if we're judging him on productivity and taking the chances. Then I'm in between.
He did miss a sitter, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm in between meh and good but not great. But he missed a huge chance. Huge. Like, come on, you just have to. There's no excuses for that. And this is why annoying that we're talking about Arteta, or that will be discussion. It's like, if Pepe takes that chance, the game is done. It's just finished. It's finished. Like, you've got to score that. There's no excuse. You're 6 yards out. It's on your left foot. The ball from Tierney is a driven ball, but it's not like launched at him where sometimes it is. He can see it coming. There's no one around him, and he misses it.
Yeah, I think that I think because he really changed the game, I want to give him more than he really was the difference maker. Like, he knew exactly what he needed to do. He injected energy, but because he missed that chance, Oh God, so unfair because of the VAR, right? But he wasn't meh. He wasn't meh.
No, he wasn't meh. I mean, but no, he wasn't. If
He
there was a
has to be
category
great but not
between
great.
like meh but not great, or maybe call it like get, like GEH, so it's like good but also
Yeah,
meh. Get, I don't know. But yeah, good but not great. That's fine for me. Like you say, he did come on and make an impact, but you got to score that. But then again,
yeah,
in 20 minutes, however long he come on for, he changed the complexity of the game. And on any other day, we would have scored 2-3 goals in that moment. So good but not great is fair.
for sure. So yeah, and the last one, honestly, I think Danny Ceballos, we could probably just put him in the meh because he wasn't on that long and he didn't do anything egregious, to do anything, just to kind of
Yeah,
like wrap it up,
that's
But
fair.
this is pretty much, where we are. It's good but not great. Nobody balled out, mostly meh, and some get in the bins, So yeah. So if I had to choose a captain for today, the most influential player, the best player on the field, I think I would have to give it to Aubameyang because he finished his chance. He that's not it, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no standout really, is there? There's no one you're saying, oh, he deserves it, or yeah, probably Aubameyang. I think a special
yeah.
mention to Callum Chambers for coming in and doing well. I think he showed a lot of character to play after so long. Away at Burnley as well, it's not easy. But yeah, Aubameyang gets my vote just about. Just.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a good comment by Gunnar Taj. He says, or he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know. When do we start calling missed chances mistakes the same way we call defensive errors mistakes? And that's where I'm at. It's not, we can't just only look at the defense and be like, wow, like they made this egregious error. Like it really is when you're missing sitters, those are individual errors as well. So we have to start looking at it the same way, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
Exactly. That's a great point. It's a great comment. And if you're going to analyze midfielders on making defensive errors, then you should analyze attackers on not finishing their chances. It's a great point.
Sorry, you guys. I know that looks weird. Okay, so we're back. We're back. So we've done the player ratings. To be honest, like, I want to do, we don't have to nominate a transfer in if there's nobody. Quite frankly, I hate the Burnley team. So there's nobody that I would ever want on their team, on our team. That's a day for when we're playing like a Man City or something, or just a better team. We probably see somebody that we'd want to transfer in or, whatever. But I still think our team is better than theirs. Obviously, we just didn't show up on the day. And before we go, how do you analyze Mikel Arteta in this game? There's a lot of it's all his fault because we didn't win the game and the game plan is messed up and playing out of the back is the fatal error from Arteta. But how do you rate him today? Like, what is your thoughts about Arteta?
My thoughts are that on any other day, we probably win that game 2-3-0 or 2-3-4, 3-4-1. And if we are having a really good season, 1-0 away at Burnley isn't necessarily a bad result. But the way we gave them the goal and then the way we seem to just filter out towards the start of the second half. I can't criticise Arteta too much. Substitutions, team lineups, you can always get at him for that. But at the end of the day, he sees the players day in, day out. He knows, what they're good at, and he has an idea of how we think we can open up teams. And we did open up teams. We just didn't take our chances. So I'm certainly not going to criticise Arteta too much for playing out of the back and whatnot. If you want to implement a style, you have to try it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's going to work against you. And it happened at City early on this season. It happens for Liverpool now. It happens for everyone. But obviously, if you don't like a manager and you don't like certain players, then you're going to bang that drum. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Obviously, I can't be too positive about Arteta because we didn't win. But for the greater picture, I see enough positive moments to think that we're not that far away from doing something better than where we are. But when you're 10th, where are we now? 10th? I don't know what happens after
I think
today.
we're 10th, but honestly, I feel like because I think Wolves play Aston Villa or something crazy like that. So now we need Wolves to drop points or something. Like it's, at first I was thinking we need both of them to drop points, but I think in order to keep Wolves behind us, we need Aston Villa to do something, or maybe a tie still works. But, you know, ultimately this journey is not really up to us anymore. We need a lot of people to drop a lot of points, and then we need to take advantage of that. So I honestly looked at this game as, if we didn't beat Burnley, I don't want to hear anything about the league anymore. Not only from a point standpoint, but from we're just not there as a team. If we can't put Burnley away, we're nowhere near it. Then our next games are very difficult, so I'm not sure how they're going to go. But this was just deflated some of the momentum that we had gotten from that Leicester game. It was completely different from that Leicester game. Highlights the inconsistency, but in regards to Arteta, I just don't see how we can look at it other than, you know, he gave them a game plan. It opened up chances for the team and they didn't take it. You know, how else can we see it than that? You know, he made his first substitution with 30 minutes to go, about 30 minutes to go. So it's not like he started, I saw the subs were too late. It was like 30 minutes to go, you know, and the subs that he made changed the game. If VAR did its job, we would have gotten a penalty. You know what I mean? Like, and again, if Pepe had finished his chance, then we wouldn't be having these conversations. Saka had like 2. We should have beat them at least 4-0.
Yeah, and also we played well. Sorry, we played well first half. Okay, we didn't play crazily good, but we played well enough to generate a lot of chances. So he goes into that second half saying, "Right, guys, just carry on doing the same. Don't be complacent. Keep generating chances." And then it's the 50th minute, and he goes, "Right, I'll give it 10 more minutes for these players to get in the groove." And then you don't, and then you take them off. Like, I don't know. You can't say make halftime substitutions, and you can't refer to Emery. Well, when Emery was playing bad, or when we were playing bad, he make halftime substitutions. That's because Emery got it wholeheartedly wrong in the first place. We played well the first half. You know, so there was no desperate need to bring anyone on. We weren't playing terribly. No one was playing terribly bad, apart from Ødegaard, who then came off. So I don't think we can criticise Arteta about the substitutions. And I don't think it's about Pepe or Martinelli or Willian today. It's just about not taking your chances. That's it. So Arteta gets a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I mean, he can't kick the ball in for you, you know? So I would say I'm where Gunnar Taj is, you know, 8 out of 9 kind of for the game plan. Execution 4 out of 10 from the players. So I'm just gonna say like just a 5 for just the sake of the fact that it didn't really work. But let's just be real, these players didn't come through today. They did their typical bullshit today, and that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, you guys, that's gonna be it. We want to keep this kind of short. We went a little bit longer, you know, but this was a trial run for, you know, the instant reaction or the on the whistle show. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to give me, you know, any sort of like, you know, suggestions or whatever to make it better for you guys, and, you know, share it around and try to enjoy the rest of your day, even though Arsenal is just wow, you know, just wow. You know, thank you, Harry. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, you know, coming on with me today. So
no, thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I speak for too long. And
no, it wasn't.
It's so annoying. So annoying. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So we'll see you guys again after the Olympiacos game. So same thing right after the game. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye, everyone.